So ADA stepped into this region that I set out in my previous update, where I mentioned we could have one of two structures that's forming right now, with one of which being a WXY structure. And of course, I set out the Y wave to tap into this region between 78.95 cents to 80.94 cents. And I mentioned that if we did have a WXY structure form, then it's possible that we get rejected within this region and then we see a further push to the downside where we could even breach past the local bottom. And that level sits at 68.42 cents. And in doing so, that will then further confirm that we have a deeper corrective move to the downside made up of a WXY structure. And the WXY structure will then form the wave 2. Following this move to the upside, that formed the wave 1. And then in the next few weeks or next couple of months, we'll then see the wave 3, 4, and 5 play out, where ADA can then even reach the $2 mark. And the alternative could be that we are within this fifth wave, which is what I'm currently tracking at the moment, where I'm looking at for the fifth wave to tap into this region between $1 to $1.14. And for this to be in play, what we need is for a 5-wave structure to form. And so essentially what we need is for ADA to extend beyond this region here and retrace towards the 1.618 level. So just to make it more clearer, if I bring in the fib tool and bring this to the wrap position. So what we need is for ADA to retrace towards 84.26 cents as a minimum requirement to complete the third wave. And that will then trigger a 5-wave structure. So essentially, this move to the upside will be the wave 1, this will be the wave 2, and then we'll see a wave 3, 4, and 5 play out, like so. And so, yeah, as it stands at the moment, it looks like ADA is at a crossroad, and we could either head in a bullish direction or a bearish direction. And so the next couple of days is going to be pivotal in determining where ADA is going to head next. And if I remove this and head on over to the hourly chart, and in the previous update, I mentioned how we had this move to the upside that was made up of 5 waves. And so given that we had a 5-wave structure to the upside, that then meant that we were on an uptrend, hence why I was targeting ADA to tap into this region here. And in addition to that, because this move here was made up of 5 waves, that then meant that the next move to the upside had to be made up of 5 waves, which looks to be the case. And again, that's something I talked about in my previous update, where I mentioned that this move here could be the wave 1, this could be the wave 2, and I was looking out for the wave 3 to reach the 1.618 level, which I believe was at 75.23 cents. So we were just above this yellow line here, and we ended up exceeding that level, where we could have topped off at 77.4 cents to complete the third wave. And then we had this retracement to the downside where we found support at the 50 EMA to complete the fourth wave. And we had that final push to the upside to complete the fifth wave, where we could have topped off at 80.69 cents. So if we ended up topping off, then that would then form a zigzag pattern made up of a WXY structure. And again, we could get rejected and see a deeper move to the downside. And so for us to be bullish, then what we need is for ADA to still be within this third wave, where again, if I was to draw that out, this would be the wave 1, a wave 2, wave 3, reaching this level here as a minimum requirement, say a wave 4 and a wave 5. And so given that this 5-wave structure here falls short of this target here, it's possible that what we are forming is another structure made up of 5 waves. And so, for example, this move here could potentially be the wave 1, and the wave 1 would be made up of a leading diagonal. So just to illustrate my point, just to make it more clearer, what we'd have is the upper trend line and the lower trend line, like so. And for a leading diagonal to be in play, that leading diagonal would be made up of 5 waves, where this move to the upside would be the wave 1, this would be the wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and a wave 5. And this structure here would then form the wave 1, like so. And then we have this correction move to the downside to form the wave 2. And then we could potentially be within a wave 3. And then we see a wave 4 and a wave 5 play out to then complete this third wave here. And then we see the wave 4 and 5 also play out, where again, we could then tap into this region here. And so a key target to be keeping an eye on would be the 1.618 level of the wave 1. So if I bring in the fib tool and bring this to 74.17 cents. And so the next key target for ADA would be this level here at 85.15 cents. I'm not sure if you can see that clearly, so what I'll do is I'll remove this. And so this is going to be the next key level for ADA. And you can see that that level just about sits above this level here. And so again, it's possible that we still have a 5-way structure that's in play right now. And if I remove some of this, one thing that's worth noting also is that we have had some bullish signals being triggered. So if I remove this and remove this, and so what you can see is we ended up breaching past the swing high, and that then triggered a change of character on smart money concept, which then further confirmed that we were bullish. And also over here, we had a breakout structure being triggered a couple of times, further confirming that we were on a bullish trend. Here we had a golden cross event that took place where the 50 EMA crossed the 200 EMA, which of course is a reflection of this recent price action to the upside. And we had a retracement to the downside where we more or less found support at the 50 EMA, and then we saw that bounce to the upside, which is also a good sign. And on the stochastic side, you can see that the bulls still have the momentum and they have the opportunity to continue to drive the price of ADA up towards high highs. And so that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on. But with that being said, if I go in the 4-hour chart, what you can see is the bears currently have the momentum. And so if we do see a reversal to the downside, the next key level to be keeping an eye on will be the 50 EMA or the yellow line, which is a key level of support and resistance. If we fail to find support at these levels and see a continuation to the downside, then that would then confirm that we are bearish, and we could see a deeper move to the downside where we could then even breach past this level here. And if I go to 8-hour chart, the same can be said. We are within the overbought conditions, and so it's possible that the bears regain control of the market and drive the price of ADA down towards lower lows. But on a daily chart, you can see that the bulls still have the momentum, and so I'm still looking out for that final push to the upside to complete this 5th wave, and then shortly after, I will be looking out for a bigger retracement to the downside, which is something I'm going to be tracking in the days and weeks to come. And in case you're wondering, if we have managed to complete this move to the upside where we fail or we get rejected within this region, we could see that deeper move to the downside where ADA could reach anywhere between 1 to 1.226 of this structure here. So if I bring in the fib tool and bring this to the local top at 80.69 cents, and so ADA has the potential to go as low as anywhere between 54.68 cents to 58.9 cents. And again, that will then form the wave 2. And then I'll be looking out for the wave 3, 4, and 5 in the next few weeks or next couple of months. But that's something I'm going to be tracking, and I'll keep you guys updated. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.